In terms of federal and provincial governments, they still have quite a ways to go. So the federal government has done things. They had the National Inquiry into Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women and Girls. They enacted the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, legislation to protect Indigenous languages, things like that, things that came right out of the TRC report. However, they're really slow on the substantive issues in terms of addressing lands and resources, protecting Aboriginal and treaty rights, making sure that the framework of the relationship between Canada and First Nations is literally based on UNDRIP, that Declaration on Indigenous Peoples' Rights.
Do you think both the federal and the provincial governments have placed enough urgency on what some consider the residential schools of today, which is the child welfare system, and ensuring that the Indigenous children of today are surrounded by the culture and the language of their generations?
See, Carolyn, that is the question, because I wouldn't want Canadians to think about this as a historic issue. Yes, Indian residential schools don't exist anymore, but our kids are in foster care at rates 3 times those of Indian residential schools. And that doesn't even include those who are living homeless on the street, those who are forcibly human trafficked, those that are murdered or go missing. So we still have a huge way to go, keeping in mind, too, that many of the victims of Indian residential schools end up in corrections, and we are grossly overrepresented in prisons. A lot of these things are under the jurisdiction of the provinces. And so I would argue that the provinces are far behind the federal government when it comes to trying to deal with these things. And so they really need to pick up their game, because we are harming generation after generation. It might not be residential schools, but it's foster care. If it's not foster care, it's prisons. So we have to stop doing this to Indigenous peoples so that we can all work together to move forward.